Hello everyone and welcome to what should be our last episode in this Great Britain's Let's Play, where the military is increasingly dictating the policy of the country. It is at least maintained at a powerful status, and we're currently about to go to war with Russia because they wanted to take Bulgaria and the United Baltic provinces from our new Austrian subject, who we got from a civil war. So that should be very fun. We are going to try to win it, but I'm not really that fussed if we lose. What's being targeted right now isn't really of great concern. You are not a member of the military, are you? Let me reassign that really quick. We did just kind of boot up the game here a little bit. I just looked around before starting, so it is going to be a little disagreeing on performance, which is the downside of getting these games to the late stage, is that eventually they just stop agreeing and things don't work as well. But that's okay. We're going to give everyone more guns. What could go wrong? A lot of things could go wrong, actually. I believe this army is getting redeployed to the Manchurian front. A lot of our other armies we can't deploy because I overbuilt them, and we don't have the naval size for that. I know Portsmouth, the Portsmouth flotilla is being built up to do that exact kind of transfer, but it is going to be a while. We could probably build regular ships for it, couldn't we? The troop transport ships. Those are usually pretty good at transferring people. Well, I think the coastal defense ship definitely can't. Yeah, at this point, we could just build more modern ironclads and protected cruisers, right? Not to a great extent, but we could still add them to the cruiser section. Let's at least make a troop ship type that's equipped. And we may as well make it a whole new fleet and just throw it around and hope nothing happens. It also means another admiral, which I think is worth it. So we're just going to make 50 of those. Oh, no. No, let's not do this mistake again. I've already done this once. We're not doing it a second time. So we're going to see how that goes. We do have... Oh, Russia just backed down. Okay. So we didn't get the Manchurian subject stuff, but they were humiliated, I believe. So never mind. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there shall be no major war for us to partake in presently. Also means all that infamy I just built up is mostly gone, but some of it's still there. At the very least, that gives us the time and opportunity to actually go ahead and both reposition and build up our military. At least have them better positioned. God, it's been a while. I don't even know why we're passing wage subsidies. I'm just going to assume, oh, it's because the armed forces want it, I guess. Sure. Yeah, why not? Well, no, I get it. It's because we bribed them into wanting it. By bribe, I mean more political concessions. That's why we were doing it, so we could give them more political concessions. I probably should raise taxes to stop the massive deficit we're under, but that deficit is being partially fueled by ship construction. It's mostly regular construction, which if I just let the private pool take over, we'll be fine with. Greece is invading Austria. Well, good luck with that, I guess. I'm not sure what they plan to do with that. But, you know, good luck. Oh, I see. I was like, why are you called Sicily? You still have it. Well, that's because they lost the capital where Naples is, so they lost one of the Sicily titles. That's just how it works. I don't know. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. And then we have this nice American army just forever stuck over here because I refuse to move it. And if the Americans eventually attack again, we'll have it ready to go. What can we do to make the army stronger? At this point, it would just be forcefully recruiting people into the army at larger volumes, which isn't really that useful, but we are kind of running out of options. And time. Mostly options, but time is also running out. Greece is in default. Very lovely. Oil discovered in Utah. By the way, the GDP has been growing nicely, except over half the people on this GDP list are in our empire, so... Yeah, doesn't really work that well, does it? But I guess we just hope for the best. Anything to weaken parties that is not the Patriotic Party, which is not doing great, but it's not doing terribly. Wow, the automobile demand has spiked. I get why it's spiked, but, you know, like, wow, it's spiked up there. Automotive industries. I'm just going to check real quick. And yes, I probably should have checked at the start to make sure the microphone is working. But, you know, we're just going to tab out a little, make sure it is reading me. And it is, of course. But, yeah. I'm still not over the one episode I had to just completely throw away because the whole time I wasn't recorded, and it's like, well, that's 3 hours down the drain for nothing. Yeah, there we go. We can get the debt down now, which we'll probably just do for a bit. This will let the private pool get more buildings for themselves. But that's okay. We'll just deal with it. The Beiyang government is unrecognized regional. They are falling to unrecognized power because of a bankruptcy, though. If I could annex the whole thing, that would be great. But I think we'll have to do a war for it. We'll wait a little bit. It's going to take up to a year for it to fall down anyway. Did we actually move that military, or did they not? They didn't move. Okay. Why is my colony causing me to get... my colonies are starting to make claims and causing me to get infamy if I try to align against it. Thanks, guys. I'm so glad that my own colonies are being rude to me. Jesus Christ. Oh God. It doesn't even make any sense. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, we just have to reposition our army. It's just fighting in a corner now. Just not what it should be doing at all. We could build the stuff like the automotive industries in Britain proper, but we're doing it in France because France is the subject, so we get some of the money for ourselves. Could you just, like, maybe ban slavery as well? It's just kind of not our thing, you see. So if you could just do that, that'd be great. Speaking of banning things, can we actually... Oh, wow, 71%. 71% of the government of India. Jesus. Okay, at this point, it's just a question of what do they want, because we're only going to be able to pass what they want. Women's rights, cultural exclusion. That's actually not too terrible. I could at least end child labor here, if nothing else. And that would allow them to get stronger private schools, which is good. Do they actually want to... No, they don't want to do anything about the caste system. They're already on cultural exclusion. Banning slavery is something we could try to do, so the debt slavery is gone. Since although debt slavery will just weaken overall anyway if people have a high enough standard of living. This is the British Raj. They do not. But my hope here is that that would actually help. Also, not having all those slaves taking up slots with extra workforce ratio might help. That's not really my big concern. My actual concern is to just get rid of it just because. Although they might not even try to do it, so. We shall see. We shall see. We're running low on bureaucracy again. We could make telephones from more bureaucracy, but don't really need it. Well, we might eventually need it, but I don't need it now. We really need to reclaim this piece for France as well at some point. They might just give it to us, but I want to watch Unrecognized Power. 43 to annex. That is a lot of infamy, but I'm going to bite because it's worth it if we can get it. And then, where's your capital? It's over. Okay. Of course it's in Beiyang now that you have it back, but I have to make sure that it's in Beiyang before I actually go for it. So we'll do that, annex it all, give it all to our subject who... I don't know if that's going to be enough territory for them to reform and be China again. Would be cool so, though. Okay, I guess I have to wait for wherever they're trying to go to. No, these guys are just stuck from the looks of it, so I'm going to need a new fleet that can move them. Good news is that we happen to have one. The newly built up fleet that has 25 iron frigates and 23 protected cruisers and modern ironclads, which can carry an insane amount of troops. But of course we also have the transport fleet, which might actually carry less, but yeah. At least they'll be able to actually move these massive armies around now that we've built. Do we have enough? We probably have enough sailors, but do we have enough yeah. Oh, we have way more than enough sailors. I could crew hundreds of thousands of additionals onto ships and I'd still have enough. How much of the population are soldiers? 16%. That's a good number. I don't know what objective we just finished. I was just kind of clicking and letting it pass. I don't even know what we've done. I hope it was something good. I hope what we did was a good thing. Probably wasn't, but you know, oh well. Oh, yes, and a lot of the Raj's major population zones are now majority English. It's not too much of a majority, and there are areas that don't have it. It might be a waste of our authority to be doing this, but I do think it's very funny that we have kind of conducted a pseudo-stabilization of the Indian subcontinent by just mass converting them all to English. As an added bonus, it is good for giving us extra pops since we're on ethnostate ourselves. And then the banana plantations, which aren't even being run by a company, I might add, are making us very wealthy. Government dividends, 216K. I have more government dividends than I do taxes at this point. We're not even a command economy. And how much dividends are we getting from that? Banana plantations and then manor houses. The banana plantations make almost as much as the financial districts themselves. Good God. For reinvestment. That's not okay. Sure, let's try to actually get this passed. Okay, so can we move you to Western Europe? That would be much preferable for positioning purposes. Can I make you a puppet yet? Probably not. No, you're actually going up because of fervor and... Well, mainly because of our infamy. Our infamy kind of shot that up pretty badly. They're also... I was going to say fairly strong, but that's not really true. The fervor definitely doesn't help, but there really isn't much I can do about that. It's just one of those things you have to live with if it happens, you know. If it happens, it happens. What is this? No, just because I don't want to give them more clout. That's the sole reason. I just don't want to give them more clout. Beyond that, I actually don't care. Well, that was easy. You know what? Sure, South Germans are now obsessed with opium just because. Oh, that's good. I love that. Okay, I need to actually naval invade this spot here so we can get the war done. Except all the armies are too big. Okay, yeah, we're gonna need more transport ships than that then. Where are our Marines? The Corps of Royal Marines is in North China still. Oh, they're the ones who did the invasion. Right, yes, of course. Where's the Army of India? In India. Well, look, I know I'm asking probably the obvious questions, but at least the armies are roughly where they should be based on their names. The American Army is in America. The Army of India is in India. The Corps of Royal Marines is just wherever their last mission was, so that's kind of irrelevant, but still. Man, that's a lot of angry people we have now in the country, and a lot of pops we now have in the country. I might need to militarize the army a second time. I am very surprised by how liberal our interest groups are as a whole. I assume this is because the liberal movement is still relevant, and the reactionaries are just struggling to get any kind of clout at this point. Yeah, the feminist movement is kind of eating into it as well. But I think a lot of it just kind of suddenly fell because, you know, yeah. All the Han that suddenly got introduced to are all going to join the new political movement of immediately revolt. So I need these wars to end. The problem is that all of our subject states are now falling into civil wars at just the worst possible time. I need these to be ending, not initiating. You know, honestly, the Alaska subject we really need to annex and just incorporate into the rest of Canada. That would at least stop the revolt from happening. Or, you know, if it did happen, I wouldn't have to care about it. But to do that, I have to wait for this naval invasion to end first. How much can you hold at 50? 150? Or, sorry, you can hold 75. You'll hold 150 if I build another 50, is what I was thinking of. Okay, so that just suggests to be the radical revolt done then, once they take it over. Can I move you then? No, you're still doing the naval invasion, I guess. Okay, there we go. And they immediately surrender, so let's have you then invade Alaska with the army. Can you get down here? I assume not. No. Well, at least it was in my expectations. I just have to do all this before the Han actually revolt. Problem is that with only one viable fleet, there's not much we can do. It's a, dismantle these guys. It's a good example of why you need to have an adequate navy to move everything with. Which is why I didn't invest into it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we can't... I did accept the no tolls, but that's fine. I'd rather have... Oh, excuse me. Jesus. The whole trade system actually work. Sorry, I had lunch with my father before I sat down to record this, so... Still dealing with some of that, but that's fine. You know, having dinner with your parent or parents, if one of them is home or not, is more important than video games. I think we'll go for compression ignition next, now that we got macroeconomics done. Antibiotics would be good, or... Concrete fortifications we could use to squeeze out a few more officers. I don't think there's any additional training. Oh no, mobile warfare tactics would give us more. Let's grab concrete dockyards first, just for the supply ship. Oh, God, I still don't have enough supply ships for all this. We've been making supply ships for decades. I still don't have enough because of how massive the armies are when they go overseas. It's just too much. Oh, right, yes. I guess we should decide on our final company, shouldn't we? Oh, there's always the Great Western Railway. I think, did we do a canal company or not? We didn't. We could invest one into ships just to build more ships. I know we talked about that before. Or I could just invest into motors and automobiles, since that seems to be pretty high on the price chart. Yeah. I didn't really consider what my last company would be, so I haven't thought of this at all. I really don't need that in the end. Why don't we get British Motor? We'll make the armies faster. Yeah, why not? And I can't give anything because I have no authority. Fair enough, fair enough. I will at least opt to make those buildings privatized. I can't do it for overseas buildings, but I also don't own those to begin. Well, I do own those. I just don't own those. Oh, right, because of all the new... I was like, why do I have all this stuff not optimized for it? It's because of all the new territories we recently captured. Yeah, that'll do it. So let's just... Oof. If I grab any of these, they have to split in half. I guess we can grab the Corps of Royal Marines and bring them over. Because our Chinese subject has built an army of up to 100 battalions now, so they can at least guard themselves. Not saying they can easily defend themselves or anything, but, you know, they can fight. Which is something. Okay, now you are going to transport the home army back home, so that it's not sitting in the middle of God knows where. We've still got time before the activism gets too high. I just hope we can end it before it gets too high. Also, hopefully, by bringing the home army home, it'll fix our supply issue. Which is definitely not tragic or sinking or anything like that. Man, we really need to use more steamers, even though they're already being eaten up by all the pops. We could pass a new law. The armed forces have grown. I assume that that is in part to them just recovering. I'm not giving census suffrage. We're not doing that. They don't want anything to be passed. That's great. You know what? Just for the fun of it, I'm going to invite him so he can start the socialist movement and make it exist. Just for the fun of it, just to see where it goes. It said start, but I don't think it meant he would start the socialist movement. Oh, no, I'm sorry, communist movement. Yes, that would make way more sense. I guess I misread that, so he's just buffing the movement, which was sitting at marginal to begin with. Now, hopefully, we can end this and actually transfer the Han to their actual owners, rulers, before anything else goes wrong. I would actually like you to just pass oligarchy if you could, just to bring yourself some government stability. Oh, man, they really do have that much GDP, huh? I know when I say no, they get upset with me, but they also don't have a lot of strength. As long as we don't let our infamy get too high, we'll be fine. Which is why our infamy was allowed to get very high earlier, I guess. I don't know. So we'll knock that out. Having Austria and France both as subjects just feels very wrong. It feels very dirty. Like, this should not be allowed, and yet here it is. Okay, I see Belarus has just broken apart on itself. That must be nice for them. The Trucial Radical Revolt is now formed. Literally, as I'm done putting down one revolt, some other country of ours starts breaking apart. It's the downside of having all these subjects. Why is Tunis purple? Ah, Spain. Okay. That would make sense. But it's like, as soon as we put one down, another revolt happens elsewhere. I'm gonna see if I can't transfer now, or if it's still gonna block me. Okay, I can do... no, I can't. That's take state. Yeah, God, I really don't even want the Trucial Coast. I would not mind it falling. So, at the rate this is going, the revolt's gonna happen just because there's revolts elsewhere keeping it alive. Oh, see, if you were willing to become my subject, I would gladly defend you. You don't have any debts I could buy off, do you? I'm not seeing it here. I don't think they have debt. Oh, no, it's not here. Ah, there it is. Take on debt. I was rolling over it a couple of times there, not really paying attention. And I guess no tolls. Sure. Agree to it. That makes them cordial, so that improves their opinion of us. It's already at 46, so then if I just make a defense pact with them and... should be able to then just ask them to become our subject. Oh, God, so now the entire southern U.S. is basically a part of our empire as a subject. And they're added in effective immediately, so that may help their economy recover. We get Sea Island cotton, so that's nice. Oh, that's just because it's owned by the United States. So are you guys taking any territory in this? I wasn't paying attention to that. No, you're just making them revoke claims. Fair enough. I know jumping in on this means I can't do the land shift even longer, but I'm already stuck because the Trucial Coast had a revolt, so like... I may as well go and get something out of this while I'm here. I would try to take back the French territory as well. Oh, there we go. Now they've added Conquer territory. Are you done adding to this list? How long are you going to delay this war? So, worst case, if the revolt in China happens, we will just put it down. We can redeploy the Corps of Royal Marines to our subject before the revolt actually occurs. And that by the time it happens, we're already in position to stop it. And the game is not agreeing when it comes to performance. So they're going to conquer, if this war happens, Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, and the District of Columbia. Well, that's nice. I don't mind that at all. Not at all. Why are you not giving us your money? You need to be giving us all of your money. That's a lot of political concessions. Can we restrict this to just landed voting? No one supports that still. Can't find anyone that wants to make an authoritarian government for some reason. I can't imagine why. Yeah, it'll just be almost the whole thing, just revolting. I did not worry about that much, though. So you're not really going to be able to pressure any interest groups, because the problem is that the interest groups get too large, they usually stay as moderates. Unless there's a lot of a specific type, which I guess in this case would be ethno-nationalists, but that's a different circumstance altogether. Actually, we won't do that. Oh, landing craft. We could get assault marines. That might be worth it. Or how about automation? Get the conveyor belts going. Hey, rubber boom. Excellent. Yeah, more automation would go pretty nicely for us here. Do we have power built in the mainland yet, or did we neglect that? We neglected that. So, since we have such a big budget that I can definitely make use of, we'll go ahead and just build some of those up and not worry about it too much. do concrete ports. Why is there 130 queued up? Oh, right. I just queued up 130. Jesus. Diminishing the industrialist power. I will gladly take that. Women have suffrage rights, right? Yeah, they do. Okay, good. Still on only restricted child labor because, you know, the industrialists don't want to end child labor at all. They're terrible brutes like that, you see. It's just terrible, terrible brutes. Liberia's in default. I saw the flag, and at first, for a second, I thought the U.S. had already gone into default, but it's Liberia. So, not exactly who I was hoping for this early on. But we'll take it. The Indian National Movement, I think we'll just stop monitoring at this point. It's pretty clear it's not going to go anywhere. Which I'm fine with. Capitulation desire. Size of loans is already at 33. Out of 100. So that's good. They're already partway into debt. Are we building up a massive steel mill somewhere? We're building a couple steel mills. Is this in Bohemia in Austria? Yeah. Yes. I'm trying to figure out which of the two is better there. One gives you radicals, one doesn't, but otherwise the effect is the exact same, so. Yeah, that made it pretty easy to decide which one to take on and which one not to. Oh, yes, I guess we should stop them from actually pushing into France and ruining things. I think it's one reason why I delayed doing this final, video a bit as well, is because I knew the performance was going to be a lot worse, because that's just unfortunately how it is with Victoria these days. The performance gets a lot worse as time goes on, and it's kind of why you see people not really getting beyond a certain point in the game because of how slower it gets. Even with, like, really good computers. Hey, Ecuador, welcome to the club. The British club, that is. Cautious and all that. Well, we could just force it. Okay, so the revolt did happen, but that's fine. Putting it down will get rid of a lot of radicals, and then we transfer it to them. That might be the more stable option in the long run. We shall see. We shall see. Well, while the world is on fire in the background, why don't we just see how our soldiers are doing pay-wise? Hey, 24 standard of living with modifiers, 21 base. That's pretty good for them. That's why I'm paying them more than our bureaucrats as well, in the hope that they'll hold that position quite nicely. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. No, unless you're with the militarists, we're not doing anything. Wow, all the other parties have such negative momentum that the Patriotic Party is second. Although the Tory Party is still very much ahead of them. It's still pretty cool, though. Let's, yeah, intimidate them. Less industrialist attraction. The Tory Party gets a bonus no matter what. We'll just have to deal with it then, that's fine. Revolutionary Alaska. Seriously, another one? Didn't we just put this down? Oh my god. Okay, as soon as we're able to, we're just annexing Alaska by force if needed, because this is ridiculous now. It's just having a communist revolt every 6 months. Which is ridiculous. And I think I'm just going to force Canada to join in. Sorry, there's a lot of events happening. There we go. Because you're a dominion, not a colony, right? Well, let's bring you down to colony status. Ooh. Yes, plus 20 to the Patriotic Party. They're not gonna... Unfortunately, they're not gonna get enough to be the most. Which is what I was hoping to reach with them. But they'll get pretty high, which is pretty good. So now they've got them as a colony, which is good. We need to transfer these as well later in Africa, but that's going to be a while. Let's see. None of them support the party we want to boost, so... I guess just whatever, then. It knocks down the charterists further, at least. Even if it isn't perfect. I think I will just pull Canada into the war here. Makes them join all current wars. That way I don't have to do the naval invasion of Alaska again, because that would be unnecessary when we have a land point right next to it. Let's use the Army of India for this invasion. This is just invasion simulator at this point. I'm having to re-invade all these revolting areas and then beat up the Americans for a separate reason. Second place on the party is still pretty good. It's a lot better for them. Kind of wish they had taken Arkansas because it just looks bad on the map otherwise. Ooh. Oh. I was gonna click the event there to give them a little more, but it had already ended before I could do it. Oh well. 33% power is good. Final word. Okay, yeah, the industrials are no longer powerful for the time being. That'll probably change later, but for now they're down. I hope they can take that out themselves this time so we don't have to deal with it. I assume... yeah, we're just waiting for them to surrender. Toll exemptions. Well, didn't need it anyway. These uprising British West Africa revolt. Oh, right. We have technically the British West Africa and British Senegal. We probably should annex British West Africa and put it out of its misery, huh? Yeah, we probably should do that at some point, given the circumstances. Okay, we just have to put down the revolt in West Africa now, and hopefully that is the end of it. Oh, I could have changed you from Russian to Anglo-Canadian. Not what I expected it to change to, but I'll take it. It's a good step, I think. Right, the Ionian Island Revolt. Yeah. It looks like they're winning it this time. Hopefully they do win it, and I can ignore it. It would, suck to have to go all the way back down there again to put it down a second time. The Labour Party has decided to form. How nice. How good for them. Oh, did you guys get a permanent grassroots support at some point? You did. Wonder when I messed up and did that. Oh well. So maybe we disable some of these. Maybe. How are we doing in Ireland? It's more Scottish here now. It's about 40% English, so it's a little more stable at least. We have access to conveyor belts now. I probably should address that further then, because we've been investing into the construction for a while. Let's research to mass propaganda. What could go wrong? What could go wrong with a little mass propaganda? I can't imagine what would go wrong at all. Nothing bad would ever happen. It's going to be absolutely terrible. To keep in mind, this is also editing the mines and all that, and the Chinese area that we took over. I almost called it Russian. Jesus. A little hung up there on the Russians, I guess, huh? Are they at least winning here? It doesn't look like they are now. They're kind of struggling a bit. Alright, let's invade with the Army of India then. No point in waiting around. Yep, there we go. Transfer them over. Is this surrendering? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, that's good. Might want to knock some of these countries out of the way. You know, make things a little easier for our access. The Ottomans are antagonistic. Oh, I'm not surprised at all. Right, now I just have to put down the Ionians again. It's only been a few years into the game. It's already happened more than once. Well, hey, we can actually give you a few promotions. Yeah, we'll promote you again if it allows it. Why not? Try to shrink some of these down and maybe at least clean up our panels to really... Okay, okay. Before anything else happens, I needed to start giving them all of this territory. And while we could keep, like, Beijing for the legitimacy, we're going to just make a full Chinese puppet state. There's no need at all to kind of split it up weirdly. We'll even give them Portuguese Western Guangdong. So they have all of that. Look at that. Now we need to invade CV and actually knock it out too. Well, that's not too difficult. Won't even put us at 50 infamy. And then I think Manchuria has to not exist anymore as well. Oh no, there we go. They just formed China. Hey, Chinese unification. There we go. That ends the warlord period. They also went bankrupt a few years ago, but we don't talk about that part. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, there we go. They have Manchu and Han, who are both obsessed with opium. But they have them both as their, whatchamacallit, primary cultures. Still, good to see that they're, whole again, with the British flag added onto it. German Empire owns most of Korea. How cute. Japanese Communist Revolt. Oh, it's like full-on Communist Revolt, too. How nice. Poppy Doc. As if we weren't already doing that before. Although I guess we are at it again. But yeah, whenever China breaks up, they all get the Warlord Journal entry and they can work towards reunifying China. Although I hope, with the upcoming Chinese DLC, I hope they do rework that a bit too. So like, China shattering is just more content, not just the end of it. Although China shattering kind of ends you in a way if you think about it. So hopefully there's a lot of alt history paths there too. Technically the whole game ends up being alt history. More often than not. But you can already avoid the opium war. We should probably annex Burma into the Raj at some point. You know, just connect it all. Maybe then Persia, the Ottomans, you know. Just a giant line of red. Well, we make a lot of money now, that's for sure. We are already making a lot of money, but we definitely make a lot of money now. Okay, if we're not building any ships, let's actually just make more supply ships simultaneously, because we evidently need a ton of them. And I don't think it's going away anytime soon, so yeah. Home Guard, you can be promoted one more time. That you can hold 440 soldiers. Jesus. Oh, wait, is this the new squad infantry, which needs radios? Right. Right. That might be something to research towards next, then. Just so we have the better troops. I was like, why can't I build the trench infantry anymore? Well, yeah. So at this point, we're just going to make the Home Guard extremely massive. I know this means I can't really expand the other armies that much, but we're kind of at the point where I don't need to expand them. They're already so big that I'm struggling to get them across the ocean. This at least means anyone who does try to invade is just not going to succeed. I actually don't even know if he can command the amount that we've assigned to it. Oh, he absolutely cannot. But I'm going to let it happen anyway because it's funny. And it's going to add several 100,000 soldiers. Because that's over 300, so that's at least 300,000 more, right? That's 1,000. It's 1,000 each, so my math's a little off there. No, the math's pretty spot on. It's pretty spot on. So yeah, that'll add more soldiers to the list. Who are currently over 5% of the population and counting. Very nice. Although, what I really need is more officers. They were, like, second for clout, but obviously that's shifted back downwards against them. We should have it all built in 3 months. Sea base been annexed. Of course, we're going to grant that to China because we don't intend to control any of this. Plus, they will... well, they won't incorporate this territory because it has no primary culture for them. But for a lot of the stuff we did give them, especially now they've reunified as China proper, it is all going to get incorporated and only take about 2 months. So they'll do pretty okay with that. Oh, Guangzhou they actually have as an incorporated state. And, okay, so they had claims to those 2 states. They're already incorporated. Is Beijing... No, it's unincorporated, so it's not the capital. That's fair. I don't think... No, you haven't even invented mutual funds, so you can't do that. Okay, fair enough. I think trying to get them to open it all won't work. Make them go back to the Canton system, not that they want to. Okay, if we can't get you to oligarchy, can I get you to landed voting at least to make it a little more stable? Kind of. Kind of. Spain is going to war against Russia. Oh, Austria finally unified. Well, unified in the sense that it's one giant piece now and not half uncolonized. The Broken Hill Proprietary Company Ltd. Isn't that a mouthful? See, we've gone negative on our bureaucracy chart again. How normal. That's probably because we gave up all the bureaucracy we had in China. But I think that's fine. Another 0.3. Officers are up. They're probably still recruiting in some areas. Oh yeah, they definitely are still recruiting. I think what, we have one more switch to mobile warfare tactics. That would add a couple thousand more officers each, and then that's it. So maybe that's something we should go towards instead. Although that requires us to get several other researches done. Defense, military aviation, and then mobile armor. So that would take time. I guess if we're trying to maximize the score, that's what we would want. But that's going to be, what, 13 years? We'll try to get that far, but after we're through over 2 hours of this, we'll see. And considering what the current clock says and where we're at, that's not a good sign. Austria conquers... Did you start this war? No, but you're dang well going to end it, it looks like. If you're allowed to, that is. Oh, it's so cheap to take everything from them now. I wish they were just a lower power than major so we could make them a subject. That would be better. But that's fine. We could take, what is this? We do, I mean, we have Greece now. We could help Greece to start taking territory. Although, what I would like to do is seize Constantinople, otherwise known as Istanbul. If we seize that piece of territory, that will at least be something that makes the strait kind of contested and half the tolls get taken, or at least they don't have sole control over the whole thing. General Deere. Why are we getting this event? Pivot of Empire. Well, should be fine. Non-compliance. Oh, how high has that gotten? Because, yeah. I was going to say, that only triggers if the Indian national movement is getting really upset. Why are they upset? Timed modifier. Martyrs of India. Well... I hope they fix that one day. I've been hoping. I don't know when that will be otherwise. The movement has been getting... This movement has been getting weaker, though. As more and more of the pops become... Excuse me, become English, it is dropping because they need... Because being South Asian is what gets them to join it. So all those English pops that we've made in India don't join it at all. Which is obviously very good for us. Ah, the Ottomans back down. Oh, well. I am still technically at war? Oh, the Greek uprising, right. I was going to say, I'm technically at war. What's going on here? Yeah, technically I am at war, aren't I? Should we just abolish taxes at this point? I mean, we could technically do it. Technically do it. The armed forces would actually dislike that, though. And it would technically put us in the red. Everyone would get a higher standard of living, but that would include the soldiers. Although I think it's not that much of their income at this point. Yeah, it's more about just how expensive everything is. And actually paying for that. which is different. Man, I'm not even hard focusing on my economy now. It's just kind of growing on its own without my input. Are you mostly building overseas? I hope so. You are, in fact. I might regret it later, but let's give them all the construction we can. And soldiers now make up 5.5% of the population. Just regular soldiers. That's not counting the officers, who are another 1.21. We actually have more officers than capitalists right now. How nice. If I could restrict us to landed voting. Ooh. Maybe I can restrict us to landed voting. Hang on. Maybe I can restrict us to landed voting. Hello there. This will not be ready before the next election. I don't believe, because of how long it's going to take for each tick, even with a righteous government. But it is a pretty good spot for it. Is this? It's just a papal. Okay, it's a papal revolt, so I can ignore it. The Netherlands. No, they still kind of don't want to join in the end. They're cooperative, though, so they at least work with us to some extent. I love how almost half of China isn't even owned by China. It's just owned by people in Britain. Got only 12 infamy to annex it. Minus 150 against unrecognized power. 75 because it's loyal. Interest here. Jesus. It's just all that effort to make China a big subject, and then what? We just annex it? That would be funny, though. But it would also massively reduce the stability. In fact, I'm actually going to give the Raj a reduction in its payments. And I think we'll actually go ahead and do the same to... Well, we've already done that to China. But we'll just do that, so hopefully the British Raj can spend more money on its... I was going to say on itself, but I guess it's more about not going bankrupt. 18% of their GDP and 44% of the state GDP is fruit. So you're telling me at least like 8% of their GDP in the British Raj is just fruit. Yeah, timed modifiers. Figured that would happen. Because we make a lot of money now, and I could definitely build more stuff myself if I wanted to. Or nationalization sprees. Not that we should do that, but, you know, if we wanted to do that, there's no one to stop us. Oh, yes, oil. We should definitely use up all that oil. And more porcelain, because we can. And then I'm going to regret this, because I definitely don't have the power for it, but we're going to switch over a bunch of things to actually consume power. And then I assume electricity shortages, yeah. I assumed that was going to happen, so we kind of did this on purpose here. But it's going to create a lot of newly unemployed pops, which we can use. I just do the... I always found that event funny regarding the automobiles. You can pick one to get 5% of the lower strata in an area to be angry at you. Or you can get +2 interest group approval with the industrialists. That's very funny to me, because I feel like it's a very obvious decision here. One just benefits you. The other, unless you're looking to cause a revolt, just hurts you. Which event would you like? Oh, good. Mass propaganda. I can't imagine anything going wrong with that. I know I mentioned that before, but it just has to be mentioned again, you know? What could possibly go wrong? Immediately, the new party forms with the questionable name. God, I wonder what happened. Plastic production, we can spread it to the... United States isn't the ones I want to be sharing technology with, but if you insist... I guess we can share the knowledge around the world a little. This can now generate nothing. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know if a fascist movement will appear. I don't even think it, Oh. When in doubt, just make it appear yourself. Sure, why not? What can... okay. I guess that makes it a bit easier to make it appear then, huh? So a lot of this is going to be by radical pops, high literacy claims. Really, it's going to be dependent on us boosting it and if possible, suppressing others, but that probably won't happen here. Greek communist revolt. When it's not one place revolting, it's just always another, huh? It doesn't really end as one would hope. Confederates are now subject. 73 million GDP. Get 1 million in diplomatic pacts and almost 1 million in government dividends. Like, I could ban taxes and it wouldn't add up to the same amount. We might very much do that, even though the armed forces technically wouldn't like it. Just do it for the fun of it. There's also the need to expand our colonies, but we need to really start being involved in all these conflicts that seem to have no end. Yep, I figured unless it rolled success and success again, it wasn't going to be ready in time for the new ongoing election. The British Union of Fascists has negative momentum and it's still higher. Jesus. Oh yeah, how are we doing on electricity now? Is it stabilized, or are we still... some areas are still not getting enough. That's probably because we're on the older production method that just doesn't produce as much as I was thinking. But that's okay. It won't take too much to build up some more. And that'll make a good kind of jumping off point for later. We actually can make electric sewing machines as well. Mean they're already negative and they're high, so I don't want to give them even more, you know. Knocking them down would actually help. Considering what we're trying to do. I guess we could maybe get an investment into Spain. Nah, we don't really need to. Let's let it focus on investments within the empire. Which one has better support? I guess hurt the Liberal Party then, because it's got more votes despite being in negative momentum. Well, yes, that makes sense, because they're part of the Empire now, so it doesn't really serve them anything. Oh, goody, I can get minus 50 momentum on the Labour Party, so we can nuke both of them. Although I would like something that buffs the Patriotic Party or destroys the British Union of Fascists, please. I would very much like either option. Communist revolt is in... God, we make so much money, I don't know what to do with it. God surely wants the Patriotic Party to win. It's still not enough to get them in power, and I don't think we're gonna get... Well, to, like, take the presidency, and I don't think we're gonna get the event. Can give them 5% clout at least. They're at 36% now. Who are you? Communist? Sure, I don't want communists anymore. I know I invited you earlier, but you can leave. Oh. You know what? I'm just gonna hold that event. I don't want to make the British Union of Fascists even bigger. So I am just gonna hold the event. The Republic of Japan, and it's communist. And atheist. How cute. So, if we just add them in instead. Join the Liberal Party? What do you mean you're going to join the Liberal Party? Oh, because you're led by a Liberal. Well, duh. That's kind of how that works. Speaking of which, we're just going to imprison him for 10 years to weaken the Liberal movement further. Why not? It's going all the way to 24% now. Very good. Very good. Well, it's starting to influence a lot. It still is not impacting the armed forces, but that's because of how big they are. It becomes very difficult to influence them as time goes on. So, passing landed voting is going to make it to where only capitalists, landowners, officers, and clergymen can vote. Which I think will be very good. Oh, right, because this would be the East Africa... The Indian Ocean Territory, British East Africa. Portugal, I need you to give me all your territory. Right, Well, that's fine too, at least. It's less overseas territory that we control and more direct territory now, which may influence the statistics and numbers a little. That's okay, though, if it does. So, it's influencing all of these except the armed forces. The armed forces it just does nothing against. What if I support your regime? Maybe you'll be less upset then. Well, at least it'll suppress their liberty desire, if nothing else. Is that the Trucial Coast again? It is. Jesus, these people just can't stop revolting. It's sick. Their greed to revolt sickens me. Have they no shame? Will they only revolt endlessly? Oh, you know, this would actually make a good tea plantation. But I suppose coffee will do too. How are we doing in glorious China? Ooh, the Chinese Plantation Consortium. Is that new? I think you already had that, right? It's your newest one of the three, so kind of not. They're building a lot of domestic industries as well, which I'm not opposed to that. It is just going to slowly tip the balance of power again. Which I'm only moderately concerned about. You know, it is a concern, but it's not a major problem if it happens. Yeah, those should at least be set up to sell. They are. There we go. So that is going to influence the next election. Also gives us a bit of authority. I think, right? From wealth voting? Yeah, it does. We still have the tradition of free elections. If we could get single-party state, that'd be nice. But we will see about that at a later point. We at least finally restricted the whole right to vote thing as we had been intending to do from the start. Oh, the fascist movement just jumped up by 5%. I guess as the political movements reset once that territory was gone, since we no longer have the territory in Africa. Lobby opportunity closed. Could give Newfoundland to Canada, and I might just do that. Yeah, why not? Not trade states. Well, never mind, just as I went to do it. Jesus Christ, it's the same areas revolting over and over again. I may as well annex this and give it to Greece, because at least then it'll last 2 more months before it falls apart. Ah, there we go. The fascist movement has now gotten so large, it is slightly impacting the armed forces. Slightly. So much effort just to barely impact them anyway. Absent mind. Sure, we can roll a new character. Oh, they were at 37.8, but it fell to 37.2. So it's kind of shuffling around as pops appear and disappear. You know, like quantum physics. Sometimes the pops are there, and then sometimes they're gone. Ooh. Ooh! You can't quite get leadership yet, but what we can do is this. Is just give him a bunch of promotions, make him significant so he holds higher prominence. And then maybe, just maybe, yes, because of the prominence and role of fascists has now massively increased, there is now an 8% chance one of them could become a ruler or leader. You know, we actually need to start getting rid of all the moderates, funnily enough. Although actually getting rid of them might be more challenging than it sounds, because that requires rolling. Oh, you know what? Ethno-nationalist, there you go. Although we actually need to get rid of the leader themselves entirely, which may be a different story. Because I don't think I can just delete you from existence now, can I? Oh, I can. The armed forces won't like it, but, you know, that's how we change things around. There's less prominence for the moderates now. That shifts the numbers. That is a way you can use the character prominence system to your advantage, although it still takes some effort to actually manipulate it to your advantage. Hey, a random fascist. I promote to commander-in-chief, question mark. I don't know. Should we promote him? I'm unsure about this. You know, he's looking at me kind of funny now that I think about it. Oh, you're a moderate, actually? We're gonna have to, replace you at some point then. The problem is that there really isn't anyone... You know what? We will retire him for now. Temporarily assign a feminist, because that's gonna have less sway. And then learn that we still have moderates and just not care about it for a while, I guess. Just because that means there are less moderates now, so moderate prominence has fallen really hard. And now you see ethno-nationalists and fascists have a much stronger grip, just in general. Moderates have a much weaker grip. So that does matter a fair bit. It does mean the Home Guard have no organization, but I'm not expecting... I'm not really expecting to be invaded anytime soon. Well, it's going up to 31 now. I know the communist movement just disappeared, so that might be a part of the reason why, but I feel like there's going to be more to it than that, right? Okay, yeah, they've got 2 agitators supporting it, so that does help. That does help a lot, actually. Above, let's see, officers, literacy, acceptance. Yeah, okay. So it's probably just that additional agitator that appeared that's now supporting it. I think it has to be, what, 10%, so it actually supports it? Above 10, it's currently at 7. 2% of the 36%. Yeah, it's just, it needs to impact so much. The real thing it's basically doing is that, oh, you know what? The Admiralty. I totally forgot about the Navy. Well, we'll try to weed out the moderates first. Because removing the moderates is how we'll actually shift it away from them. And I know ethno-nationalist is not the same, but we can work with that. We can work with that, for sure. I think, how big is your Navy? Okay, so I do need to promote you a few times here, regardless. A reformer that supports the labor movement. It says Charles Scott. He is historical, so his arrival is not too surprising. Oh, you're an ethno-nationalist. The guy who we just appointed here is gone already. Okay. Well, ethno-nationalist works for me in this case. So they're probably going to be an ethno-nationalist, but they could end up being a fascist who would support a lot more very specific laws. But I'll go ahead and actually promote this one at least part way. Oh, wow, no, you're still not enough. I mean, we already knew it wouldn't be enough. The command limit is pretty bad on that, huh? Might have to split it into 2 separate units. Is this a... No, this is just to make them a protectorate. Spain is kind of growing its own little empire over there, isn't it? How many great powers are there? Only 4, and Russia's the lowest. Ah, that makes sense. We did kind of bang Russia up a little here and there to knock them down. Another fascist. Oh, well, he's a corporatist, but, you know. Is he actually good for it, though? He's liked, so, yes, being a demagogue. You'll bump it up a little more. I don't think they'll get it to 10% movement pressure, but 8% is pretty good, too. Until we can actually get these numbers to change around a bit better. Let's remove you. And then... I don't know. I'm kind of just letting the game tick along, not doing as much so we can get through more stuff. Ah, they failed to pass landed voting. That is unfortunate. It is something we can deal with, but it is still unfortunate to see. Maybe restrict child labor? Nah. They're mostly building overseas now, which is good. 200 million GDP in France. In fact, do we want more automobiles, maybe? If they haven't built up enough already. Oh, you know what? I didn't make sure to privatize the automotive industries that were overseas because I technically had none in Britain at the time. At the time when I was looking it over. We have them now, but prior to that we didn't. Which definitely created a weird circumstance. I didn't realize how much China hated us from all those wars we started. I hate's a strong word. More like doesn't have a good opinion of. Hey, we're making over 1 million now. Honestly, even though the armed forces wouldn't like it, I very much would like to remove proportional taxation. Just because. So how long till we can get rid of you? I can retire you from the 23rd Navy. Armed forces are really upset at this point, so we probably shouldn't push it any further. He's still going to be around and still kind of in charge, so to speak. But at the very least, he'll have less clout now. It gives him less prominence. Less prominence means there's stronger weights to the other ones. Plus 52 from movement pressure. It's not quite there, but it is pressuring them. So I'm wondering, are all the movements now like a good chance for an ethno-nationalist to appear? Well, they're more likely to be a Republican for the industrialists, but they still have the chance as well. Even the intelligentsia has it. Yeah, they're all under pretty good pressure. Plus, we have an ethno-state established, which definitely feeds into it. They're attacking Japan? Well, I really don't mind if they do that. 106. I mean, getting Japan as a subject would be cool and all, but I don't think... I guess I can take on their debt at least. But I don't think that's enough on its own, right? Yeah, 71's not enough. Ideological differences. And that's because they have the trade union in power, which... I mean, I can technically do that. I don't think I want to do that, though. What does that do just by adding them to government? Ooh, it's at 50. Okay. Ooh, see, now it's very tempting. We could get another subject. I might as well, right? Just show off how silly it is that this works so well all the time. Plus 5. And there we go. We now have Communist Japan as a subject. It just works. Don't worry about it, guys. It's just how it is. It just functions. Let's mobilize the Corps of Royal Marines, who can now be upgraded into landing Marines. Or, sorry, assault Marines. They are landing Marines. That should start upgrading them by the week now that they're stationary. Yeah, so I'll give them another 5 offense, 5 defense. Not too much. But against the Russian army, they'll be more than enough. Then we are deploying the actual army to Circassia as well. So I think their GDP might suffer initially. They're still heavily peasant-based as a society. But their standard of living will probably improve for a number of them, if it hasn't already. It looks like it did just shoot up, so, you know, access to better goods and all that will absolutely help. Once these troops are deployed here, Circassia, yeah, Circassia will be fine. We can actually push from there and give them quite the beatdown. Too bad we can't take Manchuria from them with this war, but, well, we'll just deal with it. Oh, I need concrete fortification as well, yeah. So it's going to take a good long while for that to get anywhere. Whew, 34%, falling to 32, but it's still pretty up there. We could suppress a movement. And honestly, I think suppressing the liberal movement might be the way to go here. That way their impact on the various groups is weakened substantially. It will slightly help the fascist movement, but that's more about keeping it stable at this point than actually growing it. Oh yeah, we can kick the trade union back out now. They'll be upset about it, but that's okay. They'll be upset, but that's fine. Social monarchy. Yeah. Definitely a unique choice. How old are you? You're 44. Oh, he's 44. He might not be replaced anytime soon, then. Unless we can get this to have enough agitation. Oh, right, because our current ruler's a liberal. Oh, well. Hopefully the next election will change that. 1916, so less than a year to go. Oh, yeah, Russia's lost this war. It's over. Yeah, the casualty count's already not in their favor, but they're already losing on each front. So all we have to do at this point is just wait them out. Belgium is in default. That won't do, Belgium. Why are you failing? You're supposed to be a rich basket for me to make money from. And China's over 400 million GDP. I know that's largely thanks to our own investments, not their development, but just us coming in and throwing money all over the place. But it's still pretty cool to see. Look, I'm a bird. The first flight. Does mean that the various militaries we have could be improved further. Although we actually need to make aeroplanes before I can use it. Still a wondrous little thing. Let's actually get automobiles to be used for those. Speaking of automobiles, might as well get public motor carriages while we're at it. That'll reduce the employment needed in the urban buildings to reach their intended targets. Although it makes some of them engineers and mechanics rather than laborers, but that's fine. Makes transportation cheaper, which is not great for the railways, but I guess we don't really care about the railways to begin with if we were doing this. Yeah, arcades, why not? Actually, no, don't do arcades. I know we just don't do arcades because they actually add more jobs than they take. And that's not something we're trying to do right now. Ooh, we could make aeroplanes from our section of automotive industries, which I think we will do. It doesn't really help the military in terms of, like, their popularity or anything or whatnot. This is just so we can use them. Because why not? We built up the military, we might as well use it for such things. Even if they're going to be very cheap. Although they can be used for leisure needs, which might help a little bit. Hey, doggo, how you doing? Although I think it is just going to be a net negative overall. That's fine, we'll just build them elsewhere. Oh, the ace officer. Oh, man, I forgot about this event. Oh, yeah, it gives them plus 30 offense permanently. Although giving him popularity might be good right now. Nah. Do that. So, that means the army he leads here just got a permanent 30 offense increase. Absolutely horrifying. I'm not even using our squad infantry yet because we don't have radios. But just look at the offense. 132 average. The trench infantry are at 108 while getting minus 40 from... That's all with minus 40% from low organization. Which means it could be even higher. Oh my god. That's terrifying. And it all went to low org because we had just switched it over. Jesus. That's not fair at all. It's just a slaughter at that point. They barely lose anyone compared to the Russians, who are already suing for peace. This will actually temporarily knock them below great power status if it continues. Ooh. You know the random field marshal guy we got? Well, he now leads the armed forces, ladies and gentlemen. Also, everyone is going to go down massively in their clout from the votes because the amount of people who can vote that are eligible is greatly reduced. As you can see here from these numbers. But look at that. Look who is going to have the most votes as long as the momentum holds where it's at. It won't hold where it's at. But yeah, so we could switch to single-party state right afterwards. Liberal Party becomes the only eligible party. That's because of where the clout currently is. But it should change over. I will actually start it now. Because it should actually, once the election is over, it should actually flip to the armed forces. But we're going to wait and see if that actually happens. Yeah, just bribe them administratively. I have plenty of money. I can burn it if I need to. We did lose a lot of GDP from switching over to aeroplane production. But, you know, the military needs their cut and all that. Ooh, can I weaken them? I can. Although a big issue might also be, again, the lack of power. Because it flipped over once again once we started using it for aeroplane production. So I think if we're still playing by this point in time, we really need to grab the steam turbine. If we're still playing then. I think we will be. We're at what? We're not even at 2 hours. We're fine. But yeah, we could probably wait this out a little. Socialist internationalism. Find and expel all infiltrators. So now they've get negative votes. What, 36% projected? Last election, they got 54%, it claims. Well, yeah, it's because the party that did exist, that had gotten the other votes, has ceased to exist. Whichever one's weaker. I could have held the event, but I'm not going to. They're already pretty low on the totem pole. But how this works is that the single-party state should make whoever's currently in control of the presidential seat as the party when it passes. That's why it's saying the Liberal Party would become the single sole party right now, because they control the executive. But the election will end before we actually pass single party state, which should switch it around. Who else can we bribe? Is this mostly the liberal movement? It's kind of a mixture of everything. And the executive branch, obviously. So once the election ends, though, that will switch away. Can I make you... Yeah, let's just make you a puppet at this point. Yeah, no, they won't get ahead. Anti-Russian society. Allies of convenience, sure. Should switch this around, actually, because... Yep, now the armed forces are in power, and... It should say the Patriotic Party becomes the only legal party, yep. Now, the only downside here is that, obviously, the other interest groups could end up joining them. Oh, they want to make the British Union fascists now. Oy vey. They could end up joining it, but my hope here is that we pass the law, it becomes the only legal party, and then they just don't join it. And oh, I hit the microphone. And then they get locked out. But we'll see if that actually comes to pass, because that might not come to pass at all. Oh, -10 from support regime, right. We could probably revoke that now. Yeah. That way we have a more legitimate party. Yeah, their clout's gonna rise and fall now as things move about here, but we'll see if we can pass it in time or not. Probably won't be able to, but that's okay. I think we could also go ahead and stop attracting pops here, maybe? Maybe. I mean, we could always let them keep coming back in. It's probably nothing too consequential about it. Our standard of living is pretty good regardless, and we're mostly focused on the soldiers here. Well, as you can see, trying to keep their political strength up does struggle, because eventually other stuff gets bought up. Can I nationalize everything that is privately owned by financial districts? Just financial districts. Weird. Why is it not... Well, do that first, I guess. Nationalize those. There we go. I don't know why it wouldn't let me do that before. So, bad news, that puts us in debt. Good news, we should see the capitalist population drop, which it did. Only for domestically owned industries. It won't do anything for overseas. But that will have dropped their clout a bit. I know the shopkeepers are particularly strong because we haven't switched it over. No, I thought we did switch it over at one point, didn't we? Oh, I guess not. Yeah, I don't know. We did. It's just not showing it properly. That's always confusing when it doesn't show it properly. Hey, the debt doesn't really mean much, though. We are easily paying our way out of it. Armed forces authoritarian appears. Oh. Oh, it's because of revolutionary showed up. I was wondering what the heck happened. Definitely need more oil. How is Mexico doing on the oil production here? Yeah, haven't even started, actually. So let's build the place up for them then, I guess. If they're going to be like this. Fascist movement jumped up to 36%. Still only slightly affects the armed forces. Okay, sure. China wishes to have building rates. China shall get nothing. And they shall be happy about it. At this point, I'm just letting the revolts happen in the background. Oh, has our cultural fervor hit 100 somewhere? Ah, the Scots. Alright, fair enough. If they're having fun, then they're having fun. Poor Ireland is slowly flipping to no longer be majority Irish. The Raj, it's really slowing down at this point as fervor rises, but also just more of the pops are converted. That being said, though, that should mean... Yeah, the Indian national movement's fallen to 9% now from 11 when we last checked it. So it has gotten weaker as time's gone on here. Which is good. Keep getting that event, even though we only own British Guiana. I guess we're going to keep getting that event as time goes on here. What do I need to actually exploit it here? Because evidently... Oh, the rubber plantation needs to be larger, which means I need to control more of it, which... Yeah, good luck. Downside to it being a split state, I guess. Oh boy. I have to like pause it now and then just so to react quicker to my construction. And then unpause it before waiting around again. Yep. I'm not actually shooting for 1 billion GDP here. I mean, we weren't really shooting for 1 billion GDP to begin with, playing as a Britain with a ton of subjects. So our GDP was never going to be 1 billion in just Britain, with us focused heavily on the army. But if you include all the GDP we own, which is basically in all of our subjects, most of it not in Germany, we own over 2 billion GDP. And a lot of that is now owned by the government, who gets a lot of money out of it because, yeah, reasons. You know what? Sure, because I actually don't care about that. They'll just die to the Indian subcontinent later. It's probably better if Portugal doesn't control it for their own sake. Although we'll see. We'll see. So here's hoping then they just stay as the patriotic party. And it's just like stuck that way if this passes, because it may just roll to the next one again. Concrete fortifications in 4 months. That is something we should probably actually deal with. As is the situation over there. Oh, the Army of the Mediterranean doesn't have anyone. It's all moderates. I don't want to add too many moderates and unmess ourselves, but I guess we have enough as it is. There we go. The single-party state. Authoritarian has also been unlocked. Oh, it did automatically form into the British Union of Fascists anyway, I guess. Or not. It did not. They want to join it, but I don't think it will let them. Yes, it won't let them. So they are staying as the Patriotic Party, and it looks like no one else wants to join it. So I think they'll stay as the only party, which means they all should lose clout. Or rather, they already did, but the next election cycle, they should be boosted up. We are, unsurprisingly, now regarded as a fascist state, given the dictatorial ideology that now rules over us. We can switch back to the guild system. What could go wrong? Yeah, what could go wrong indeed. They do like to switch to corporate state from presidential republic. That would boost the bourgeoisie, though, which is why I'm a little iffy on switching to it. Because remember, we're trying to get the armed forces to have as much clout as possible here. And passing a law that would boost one of the other nations, or one of the other interest groups, I mean, is not exactly a winning strategy in that department. Ah, good. The zero supplies situation strikes again. I'm sure it'll be back once more in the future. Russia. That's a bit too bit too close to reality for my liking right now. Putting all that aside, we're just going to see if we can't do the usual strategy here to make them a subject. Which we might be able to. Sweden joined on their side, but they're still willing to accept our offer as well. Which is good. So yeah, I need you to now immediately get shipped over here, please. So we can deal with that instead. Or as well. So that makes Ukraine a part of the British Empire as well now in our game. Which is... oh, that's the wrong pick. Which is very nice. Europe is slowly following to the British flag of questionable design. Probably shouldn't worry about it too much. It'll be fine. I don't think anything will go wrong. That's what, 94 fortifications, more officers. So that's good. At least it'll keep them over 1% for a time. Now, I would like it if we could get to command economy, just to nuke the capitalists further, but... I mean, if we added the trade union to government, we could technically get it done then? The idea here is that by... I mean, yes, it buffs the bureaucrats' political strength. The idea here is that you get rid of all the capitalists and consolidate more of the wealth into the government. The authority it gives is a bonus. Why do I have a lot of authority right now? Is it due to the new leader? Ah, yes, it is actually. Because he's ambitious, it dropped the cost over here in the homeland states. So actually, we'll just take advantage of that. And then I guess more of that over here. I would love to do it in China if China could actually be converted to our primary culture. Obviously they can't, so I don't care. That is going to make all these buildings more productive. I'm just wondering, do I want to do that? Probably, right? I mean, it wouldn't get rid of any of the overseas ownership, I don't think. What is happening with the landed gentry? They're fading in and out of existence. Oh, you know what? I know how to help the landed gentry not continually appear and disappear. It's actually very simple, really. It's called buy out everything they own. There we go. What about located abroad? Can I... No, of course not. Okay, that's fine. But that should help remove them and keep them removed. I would hope. You still have no supplies. That's not... Well, you have no supplies, but you're actually getting supply ships now, so... Maybe you'll eventually start to consume less. I don't know. We'll see. Did they add any additionals to this peace deal? Or to this war? Lots of revoke claim wars, return West Karelia. Oh! Oh, Sweden is doing that. I was very confused at first. I was like, why is Ukraine getting West Karelia? This doesn't make any sense. Jesus. So, what other pops are actually supporting you? I know there's probably not a lot. Although I know the bureaucrats might be slightly influenced by loyalists. Not by a lot, though. It's like, what, half of them are loyalists here, and that's causing 2.15? So it's not a lot. Supporting the Russian workers, sure, why not? Although, if we are doing, and you know what, I am going to do it. If we're playing this from the context of the army consolidating power over the country, nationalizing the economy itself would make sense, if you think about it. It would make sense, because then they're just ensuring they control the economy. It's owned and run by them, specifically. Well, most of it. So domestically speaking, we could build it. But what about abroad, where it's going to be dirt cheap to build it all? That's the next step, right? Is we just turn China and, I guess by extension, Japan into our telephone makers. It's going to have all the right brandings. Oh, did they back down? Yeah, they backed down. Cool. So the Army of India should probably be taken home at some point. Hawaiian proletariat revolt. Well, it seems like the proletariat is technically losing according to this, so I might just wait. Oh my god, another Alaskan It's just a meme at this point. They can't help themselves. They have to revolt every now and then while I'm not looking. It's just too funny for them, I guess. Oh wow, the landed gentry are still coming back. I guess they're going to be around for a while longer then. Oh, it changed. There we go. Well, it turns out when only the armed forces are in government, there aren't a lot of people who can protest appointments. Thinking the next election is when it will really kind of change the numbers. But we're going to be waiting and seeing for that. Why do you have no access? Did they destroy everything here? No, you should have plenty of access then. Why do you not? Oh, I know what it is. Hang on. Circassia doesn't have market access because it's not checking it. It thinks they're still occupied and can't access the rest of the market when they can. So now I have to do the whole save and load spiel to fix it. Oh, well, it should be fine now. Ooh, no, are you still disconnected? Why is that? It says you should have 100% access. Are you acting as if you have 100% access? You don't appear to be. I'm very confused by this, but you know what? It's not critical if they aren't connected. It's not really that important to the rest of the economy. Like, if they're dying, it's whatever. We'll be okay. It's not a huge loss or anything. This will actually help deal with the companies owning a ton of profit as well and making extremely rich. Oh, you know what? We could get rid of the armament consortium at this point. I just don't know what we'd replace it with, and we aren't really going to have another episode, so it's kind of like, I could replace it, but I don't care. Yes, it should replace this with what government runs, so bureaucrats and clerics will be here instead of capitalists, but the bureaucrats won't keep the money. Ooh. Yeah, sure, why not? It makes so much money, this steel mill. Well, it doesn't pay a lot either, that could be why. Gee, I wonder why it makes so much money. It couldn't be that the workers are being paid little compared to the costs and other benefits. Well, it could also be the throughput. It's at 124, 125%, obviously. And all the input goods aren't expensive, so, you know, it all adds up pretty well. How are the explosives doing? High-grade explosives. I did forget about that. We got high-grade explosives, didn't we? So those are doing decently here. 5% from prestige good inputs. Can't wait to get the diesel pump if we ever make it that far. No, we're definitely going to stay till we get the mobile army in 14 months. That's for certain. Would very much like to go ahead and grab that. Oil's at 20%. Oh, yeah, we really needed to build up Mexico, didn't we? I don't think they understand the value of what they're sitting on, so we need to kind of excavate it for them. You know? National Telephone Exchange. Sure, why not? Leopold von Roon has been exiled from the German Empire, where hundreds of thousands of British soldiers are encamped. Can't be related at all. Probably isn't related, it's just really funny to see that. Could you maybe commercialize your agriculture, actually, since you have access to it now? Your industrialists basically control everything. We may as well exploit the last of your arable land that you're sitting on. Oh, the intelligentsia have a corporatist leader now. So they are a lot less resistant to the policies we've been passing. You know, like ethno-state and all that. Though they still oppose ethno-state, actually. It's just a lot of the other things they were upset about, like single-party state, they're no longer upset about. Oh, yes, we can do that too now, can't we? Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Just getting rid of anyone who opposes the government. This can't be a terrible thing. I can't imagine that. How are we doing down here? How many Englishmen exist globally now? We have 89 million and 216 million exist globally. My God. 82% English in East Bengal. Now, no wonders we haven't seen an Indian revolt in some time, despite all of them being upset, because they're just making up less and less of the population as time goes on. And the unemployment isn't too bad. 10 million is still not good, but it's not bad either. China, it's a lot worse, but it's also a lot larger. I think there's still some construction sectors I can get, but a lot of that is utilizing the areas that are kind of out there. Like British Guatemala and the British Sinai are good examples because they're really small. But we can go ahead and do that still. Excellent. Okay, so let's once more nationalize all the buildings they own. We don't need to do the companies because all the companies are going to do is they're going to switch over to a new production method, which they have already done and are now government run. And of course, government run companies, well, there's still some workforce dividends, it says, but a lot of it is government dividends now. So I think they actually still get some of the end. I wasn't certain if they still got dividends or not. It looks like they do get dividends, but what it is that a portion of the dividends now goes to the government itself when you're making over 4 million. Rather than staying with the company. The government dividends just shooting through the roof. Obviously, it's also because by being a command economy, our dividends efficiency went up by a notable amount. So the banana plantations are giving even more. But the company with the steelworks is giving almost 2 million on its own. Although it's going to fall as more pops are employed into it. Because they'll get their dividend share instead. But it's still really cool. And they'll still do some expansions. It's just that it's only going to be the company's expansions now. So if I don't build, we actually might not see that much construction going on. But I think that's fine. Actually, we co-opted the remaining constructions that were ongoing. Arthur Cook. Well, good for him. Oh, yes. Look at that. Plus 349 million political strength is what they're going to get. What is their current political strength from votes? 78 million, so that's going to jump up by several thousand, or by several hundred million. I think that won't cause any of them to vanish, because I don't think they're getting any right now themselves, but it is going to make it a lot harder for them to do anything. But yeah, so the only downside to making the command economy is that now I actually have to consider building a ton again. Which, you know, can slow you down when you're doing this kind of stuff. On the other hand, look at all the money the government makes now. Over 6 billion in surplus revenue. Absolutely traumatizing. The German flu. Oh, well. That's going to be devastating, isn't it? You know, just when everything was looking up, I guess we'll keep attracting pops then, because, yeah, we're about to have a bad time. A very bad time. Yeah, this standard of living's gone up pretty well. Hey, there we go. Right after the election ends, of course. But they're currently at, what, over 40% clout now? Bureaucrats have the most. And we have, what, 1.04% officers. It won't boost them too much, but they'll have more concentrated wealth in their hands at least. It's going to fall initially because obviously their standard of living has changed. But once it shoots up, they should be doing a bit better. Yeah, there we go. 4th of them are now all officers. Oh, you'd actually gone up recently and you're stable despite the increase. I mean, that works too. I'm fine with that. Oh, you're actually Hindu as well. Interesting. So they probably didn't get a lot of the merge, did they? Yeah, they didn't. That's what it is. They didn't get the merged pops. That's why they weren't growing in standard of living at all and already hit their limit. They didn't get anyone. So they're just same as always. Yeah, so we have less servicemen now, but more officers, but only by a small portion. 41% though for the armed forces. They've gotten up there. I don't think there's much more I can squeeze out of it from there. Oh god, the black spot of Egypt. Oh no. I do see our GDP has fallen, but that's presumably because we're constructing way less now than we were before. So obviously it's going to start falling. In fact, I think we need to do a few projects in China. Obviously elsewhere too, but China was just the first that came to mind by chance. We wouldn't want everyone to starve now, would we? Of course we're going to want more banana plantations. Which still won't use automatic irrigation because it would probably be way too expensive if they did. Coffee plantations are monopolized. Well, at least it's cheap coffee. As in, like, cheap price, not quality. I just realized there's kind of a difference there, isn't there? It's very cheap. We have over 200 authority again. We could suppress the radical movement to knock them down as well. All that, and this is still not affecting the armed forces. I don't think it ever will be able to at this point. Well, you know what we could do? I know the... Oh, the Circassian call. That took a extremely long time to come up. You'd think that event would have hit a while ago, but I guess it only now decided to show up. A little weird, but okay. Oh, I didn't even notice this, but apparently the British Congo just annexed all of Sokoto. I didn't even notice that they just did it by themselves. I mean, I'm fine with that. It kind of encroaches into the British Senegal territory, but they've done the same, so... Honestly, that's just kind of whatever to me at that point. If they want to do that, they can do that. I don't mind. Government dividends are just way too high now. There's so many political concessions to the armed forces as well. They're just insanely high. Yeah, figured this was going to spread. So what we'll do, of course, is impose the strict lockdown to try to choke it out as soon as we can. There we go. Austria is now a puppet, which means its puppets are now our puppets. Because I just didn't have enough puppetry to go around, I guess. I had to get more. Ah, no, you're actually a major power? Oh, you are. Hungary is almost a great power. Wow. Good for them. Good for them. We could use more motor industries at some point. No, British Raj, stop trying to invest. You can invest in yourself. Just can't invest over here. It's forbidden, you see. You're just not allowed. Sorry, that's just how it has to be. This is a one-way relationship. We are allowed to invest into you, but you're not allowed to invest into us. 1921, we're at an hour and 44. We're not doing too bad. I was hoping to maybe get the armed forces all the way to 50% clout, but we really are kind of running out of options. It's a single-party state and everything. The bourgeoisie tend to get wealthy as pops just get wealthy in general. That's a little unavoidable. The only thing I can think of at this point would be to mass conscript people into the army. which I should note is not exactly a way to grow the economy in the long run. Also, everyone is, like, already employed elsewhere, so I'm just going to be pulling them out of buildings that are... Ooh, there's a lot of unemployed here, actually. We could really build this one up, then. So why don't we? And this will take a glorious 9 months to finish. For everything. I don't know how long that will actually take. Shouldn't take too long to build. Yeah, we have 800,000 or 800 of them here in the home counties. It's mostly soldiers because there's no production method to change, but yeah, still good. So I think that's the only thing I can do at this point is just mass conscript the population. And then hope that's enough. That's, Oh! When I was doing these decrees earlier, I didn't realize that they were resource decrees. Wow, I probably got yelled at there, didn't I? That explains why I didn't see a change in their production at all. Yeah, that would do it. That would also explain why the urban centers didn't change at all. Huh. Wonder how many people had already noticed that before I did. Probably a lot. I'm going to recruit people straight out of those. So far, it's only spreading to places like Singapore, which I don't mind, but it's still going to take time to burn out. A lot of this construction time is just getting all the new motor industries done, and then it'll actually spread elsewhere. Because those only take a few weeks each. The naval administrations, that is. They don't really take that long to finish up at all. British motor. Cascadian separation is also dead now. Portuguese socialist revolt. Looks like they've got it under control. They don't need us. They don't need us at all. At least we'll be giving them a good job sitting at a desk pushing pencils while looking important. What could go wrong? Our GDP, if it is going to do what I think it's doing and start taking people from other jobs, we should see our GDP begin to just stumble and collapse, and that's fine if it does. British Panama, I see it's going around the world. It's gotten to Singapore, it's going to get all the way over here to Panama, and then it will reach us. It's taking the long way around. How are the Germans doing about it? Oh, maybe it's already burned out in their country. Oh, no, here it is. Oh, 250% mortality. That's fun. Are you having fun with that? I don't feel like you'd have fun with that, but, you know. If you are, that's fine. Oh, the Americans again. You know, it's risky because that's a lot of infamy. But I might do that. We might do that. You know what? To hell with it. We're nearing the end of our campaign. We might as well go big in a way. I know they're a moderate, but they're also part of the armed forces, so. Yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of our treaties and probably some of our independent power block members. Wait, you're not independent, are you? Yeah, Venezuela was still an independent country. They actually could have left if I didn't act. Whew. That was close. Can't have them doing that now, can we? Oh, Rhodes Island. I noticed something about Rhodes Island before. I guess it found its independence at some point. And I just never noticed. All that iron. Yeah, I figured go big at this point. Put the US down for good by making them a subject of the British Crown in totality once more. Arthur Cook, the Anti-Mask League. So, they want a social monarchy. Wait. You know what? Fine. The armed forces want a social monarchy. They'll get a social monarchy. Although that sounds funny, because doesn't that mean that they're going to be the emperor, or, sorry, the king? Which is a funny idea. It is going to give the bourgeoisie 25% in clout, but they're already getting that for the National Guard, I guess, if we could just switch that. Oh, I can. I can actually switch it to fascist ideology. So we could actually switch it. He's been released. Ah, yeah, but he can't take a slot. That's good. Let's take the communist and imprison him. There you go. We're just suppressing all of our political opponents. That's just how mean we are. Can even wipe out the socialist movement if we try. Yeah, I know our economy is definitely tanking because I'm not really doing any construction here. I'm not really paying attention enough for that, if I'm honest with you. But it is, again, just also we're kind of nearing the end of our points, and I'm like, just let it burn. It's just going to let it all burn in the background. You know what I actually want? More opium. God, this is the worst case scenario for the Chinese. There's so much, just copious amounts of opium being forced to be grown in their country until it's so cheap that no one can, that everyone buys it. British New York. It's just going everywhere that isn't the mainland. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an armed forces petition. We're gonna have to pass it. We don't actually have to pass it, but it's like it's going to everywhere where there's just a strait. Oh my goodness. It's fine, I guess, but why? Oh, the Germans are buying up all of our coffee. Cool. Well, let's try to improve relations with them. I'll see the economy recovers once I start building again. I guess because all these steel mills don't have to fire people now, although... Oh, yeah, see, we have like 300,000 unemployed pops here. They're all working in the naval administration now. 1.46% of the population are now officers. Still not enough to keep their clout up. It's still slowly slipping, but, you know. It's also very funny. I wonder... I need to... this is going to be one of those moments again where it's like, I wish I could build this up faster, but I would need to get like a mod that allows you to do 50 or 100 at a time. But you only grab that kind of mod when you're doing something insanely ludicrous. I guess I could get an auto clicker and just let it do it for me. That would be easy too, but I don't want to do that right now. But that would be an alternative. Yeah, they're all going up now because of our infamy. I can... Oh, honestly, we're at the point now where I could go ahead and just, like, reduce a lot of the interest payment, not interest payments, but the subject payments that we've been getting. Just because we already make so much money to begin with, we may as well do something that helps keep them, under control for the most part. For a lot of them, that did actually knock it down to where they're not going up in their liberty desire. It's kind of stalled out instead. So that's good to see. Not enough workers. Hopefully we can get more. I wonder where they're all going to start coming from as they get kicked off their plantations that are recently made into opium plantations. That was such a long admiral name. What the hell? Flu pandemic. I'm just going to remove this explaining the Amazon thing at this point. The scramble for Africa. They're not really things that can be done, because at this point, to finish the scramble for Africa, a lot of the... Oh, there we go, flu pandemic done. A lot of these still independent nations have to be wiped out. Which is a lot of little wars that I don't really feel like doing, that we would have to do. You know? Don't really want to. So we're just going to ignore them. Where can I build this? I can never have enough bureaucracy. That's another thing that we're always having an issue with. I actually don't want to build it over here in Guatemala, though. It's British Guatemala, but, you know, it's still Guatemala. So after that, we'll then go to move and establish the secret police to then remove the 25% clout bonus that the bourgeoisie otherwise get. But this should make the armed forces effectively in charge of the... I mean, they're already in charge of the executive branch because of the single-party state. But this would basically reestablish the monarchy in Britain, but under a Much more militant ideology and group. One might say that is rather unusual. Or at the very least, very concerning. Oh, there goes the economy again now that I stopped building. You have 2 million. How many pops are migrating here now? That's what I thought, because there are available jobs. Pops are migrating here from elsewhere. I mean, a lot of it looks like it's coming from Yorkshire. And it is. It is. Let's just, oh, we could sit here and click like this for a bit, right? Let the timer tick along. Not worry about it. Recruit another 1 million men into the Navy who never, ever actually sail on a ship. They just stand around all day. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Secessionist bomb building. Well, can't win them all now, can you? Isn't that Singapore? It's actually interesting. This whole time, Singapore's been relatively stable. It's only now catching on fire because the population has kind of finally outgrown the jobs that were available there. Oh, that's the wrong button. It's like that's why they're starting to revolt now, I believe, is just because a neighboring secessionist... and support separatism. I see, I see. Well, the 23rd British Fleet may as well move away, because it's not going to go anywhere. Oh, right, the U.S. is now a protectorate, so there will not be any more trading with them. But it means their economy will recover, probably. Probably. So we have the U.S., France, and Austria all as subjects. There's also yet more ongoing revolts. They just never end. You think being a part of the biggest empire in the world would bring some stability, but fun fact, no. It's actually a lot of instability. Speaking of instabilities. Yeah, I guess we'll have to put that down later, won't we? Yeah. Oh, well. Won't be too difficult. 11.2% of our population are now servicemen. They and the officers are in the top 3 for clout. But only the officers can vote in the election. How funny. And we now have a social monarchy. Oh, I see. It doesn't establish an actual monarchy. You're still quote unquote president. To be honest, when I heard social monarchy, I interpreted it as a you know, it would actually establish an actual monarchy system, but I guess not. Oh, mass conscription. I mean, it gives political strength, less political strength to officers, but I don't know. I don't feel like it would really help us here in the long run. Maybe I'm wrong about it, and it actually would. I just feel like it wouldn't. God, is that independent Lower Egypt? It is. That is terrifying. Because it looks awful. That's the only reason it's terrifying. It looks awful. Austria is almost 300 million GDP. I love how all of our subjects are getting so much GDP. And then there's just Hungary, who has over 100 million themselves. I think we did invest into them a lot. No, actually, it is... We did a bit, but it's actually the Germans who did. Socialist movement has been disbanded. Thanks to continued efforts at suppression, I'm sure. Everyone has done a fantastic job. Oh, I see we've lost someone again. Well, that's okay. We'll just fully promote you. And then grab one of the armies, and we'll just start doing more naval invasions, I guess. Oh man, you were lost too. Oh, no wonder some of our clout for the armed forces is gone. All these prominent people are just missing. It's not the only reason why, but it's definitely a factor. But yeah, we're just going to have to do these naval invasions to put these attacks down. Oh, I can't carry enough of them. Well, I don't want to break up the army that we formed at this point. 10% interest pop attraction. Yeah, that would be good. They're at 43% now, and pop attraction might grab them a tad more people. Not a lot, but, you know, 10% increase is better than nothing. Yeah, it would still be very low. The next rebels will get much worse. Horrific reprisals, 10% lose their lives. That would make us a pariah. Oh, can we use this to... Yes, we can. We can use it to scapegoat someone out of existence. And instead get another member of the armed forces in charge. No, the bourgeoisie are now led by a fascist leader as a result. How fun. How fun. Let's go for the time, just to get this passed faster. Yeah, it's only four interest groups now. We were able to remove the trade union. Getting the bourgeoisie to be weaker will be a bit difficult, though, because the bureaucrats that exist are always going to kind of support them here. There isn't much of a way to remove that in the long run. We're just not giving them higher wages. I could cut their wages, but then we get penalties, and I don't feel like having penalties, so we're just not going to do that. Simple solution to the problem. We just don't do it. Just don't do it. Simple enough. You know, how high can we get this? I mean, technically, the answer is indefinitely. It's however high we want to do this. But at this point, I'm just throwing the economy into recruiting more people for a naval administration that'll never be used inside the capital to give the armed forces more clout. Obviously, this is not good for your game. This is not going to in any way help you get better at the game, make you stronger, or help you destroy your enemies. It's not really going to help us get a world conquest either, because I can't even use them all. However, as far as getting the armed forces to have a stupid amount of clout goes for no reason, it is perfect. You know what? At this point, I just want to sit here and spam this as much as I can. It's 1924. It is about the only thing I can do at this point is to just conscript the masses into the army with lucrative pay and completely destroy my wage system by having way too much of it be weighted by the army. Because, look, if the population's going to keep growing and so is the economy and the world is going to keep building up, we may as well just put more people into the army on paper to make them all feel better and deprive the bourgeoisie of shopkeepers and engineers for them to hire, because that's just what they'll do, is hire them instead. So, yeah, I really probably should have gotten it on for this. Reminds me of the time when I built like 15,000 government administration centers into the capital, Berlin, when I did the World Germany Conquest, which had over 20 billion GDP. That was several patches ago. I think it's been like 9 months now since I've done that. So, you know, it's old. It's somewhere on the channel. But it was one of those just fun things. This was a bit of a weird kind of run to do, but I had fun with it in the end because of how unique it was. It was different. We could have done it as one of the Latin American countries with the Caudillo era, since that would have gotten more pop attraction and more clout for them, which arguably would have allowed us to reach a higher percentage before we do this kind of shenanigan that you're seeing on screen now. But we probably didn't actually need it either. Yeah, the fist clenches, they get, what, 500%, 100% political strength. But you see their army's only at 15%. You really, even with that massive buff, you actually need to be gearing the whole country towards it to really, really push them forward. Because they already have 100 barracks here. How big is the Mexican army? 171 battalions. Most of it is in Texas. What is the clout of their officer corps there? I'm curious. Political strength 5 million. With an 875% bonus. Primarily because of base Valentine modifiers. How funny. Oh yeah, won't secret police improve Yeah, it'll give them a little more political strength. Not a lot, but it will give them a bit more. More importantly, though, it'll knock the bourgeoisie back down a bit. Yeah, there we go. They lose that benefit that they had. Winston Stapleton, you are a leader, so I can't do anything about you. You're a magnate, I can't do anything about you. Well, I might be able to do something about him, but... not enough. Not enough to actually matter. Oh, they actually left the, I kind of forgot they existed. I'm honest with you. I haven't really paid attention to South Africa that much. So I kind of just forgot they were there. For a very good long while. This is just... There's no point in doing this, but we're getting so many pops to migrate over here from a variety of areas, including the Raj proper. Although I don't know if it's a lot. Well, it is in some areas. I guess it just depends on the ticks, but also whether they're slaves or not does kind of count, since slaves can't migrate. As far as I've experienced, they can't migrate, so... Wonder if the normal wage in Britain is increasing as we get more of them into the army. Because I assume it's basing it all on the average wage, and if the average wage is increasing, in theory it should go up. Which reminds me, never did bump up Social Security. So it would actually increase the wage. The base, like, minimum wage that it has to be. Yeah, we could switch straight to corporate state instead. It wouldn't really do a lot, though. I mean, it gives us access to cooperative ownership, but I don't think it changes anything. I mean, do the fascists prefer that? Yeah, they do, so... Also, it is weird, though, because it's social monarchy. It describes itself as a monarchy, but the system doesn't seem to be actually registering it as a democracy. Still, or democracy. A monarchy. Jesus. I don't know if that is intentional or if that is a bug. I am actually uncertain. How is Hawaii doing? It's almost got 1 million GDP. How nice. Aw, they're getting there. Eventually. They never will, but we can have hope for them, can't we? There was hope for us, there's hope for them. There we go. It's starting to struggle to find people to hire. I bet it's hired out the urban center, hasn't it? Yeah, there's almost no one working in the urban center now. But that means it's a perfect place for a bunch of people to migrate to. Oh, they're actually taking them out of the railway, too. Okay, this might get dicey. But I'm going to keep letting it happen anyway, because it's funny. But also, all of those rich officers are definitely helping their clout. We've almost got them at 50% clout, actually. If it continues as it is, they should get to it. There it is. There it is. 50% armed forces clout. We're still going to continue, but I just wanted to appreciate the moment for a minute. Because that is definitely no easy task. No easy task at all. And it only took conquering half the world to do it. Well, not half the world. That's a bit of a subjective term, but it kind of feels like it. Oh, I could have just not made them a subject. I could, or puppet. I could have let them stay as a protectorate, but we're gonna get our money anyway. They have to give their donation to the armed crown. It's just depopulating the rest of the buildings now to hire for it. And then pops are migrating here every week to fill in the void that's grown. 16.5% of the population are servicemen. Officers have over 18% of the clout and make up over 3% of the population and rising. The home counties has just been massively militarized. You can't walk to Parliament without a gun in your face. They truly have consolidated all power. Preeminent, loved. This guy's having fun. Is any of this timing out? Yeah, in 8 years. Decaying in 7 years. That's the only reason why he has any popularity as well. 19.1%, it's still growing. Oh, well. Sorry, just looking at the servicemen as well. It's just so funny to see. There's almost more there's more servicemen than our mechanists. Laborers are the only one to outpace at that point. There's millions of pops to employ here. I think next what we do is get more infrastructure here. In fact, let's just do road maintenance here to get more infrastructure because that will increase the weekly migration cap. Now, you can't see the cap, unfortunately. I personally would like to see it, but I micromanage the hell out of this game. So, yeah. But basically, the more infrastructure an area has, the more pops can migrate to it each week. So now you see how it's kind of holding steady at 23,000 instead of being at like 21 to 22,000. It will bounce around to those you just saw. Because, you know, maybe pops that time decide not to go. Ah, the trade unions. Oh, they're led by... They're led by a fascist now, huh? You know what? I'll let them in only so they stop ping-ponging and constantly spamming us with notifications. But if they do stay, we do get some more workers, which we can just employ into the army at this point. So, like, yeah. Just need a couple more million pops to come over here. Hey, compression ignition. That means we can upgrade the mines, but this will also... Well, I actually won't remove jobs. It'll just make the jobs better. We are going to switch it over, even if it crashes stuff. And at this point, like, it doesn't matter. We're just going to do it. If it holds up well, fantastic. If it collapses, fantastic. I don't care. I don't care if the business fails or not. All I care about is whether or not the army has another paycheck waiting for it at home. Speaking of which, I'm going to make the French build us more cars. You know, for that very same army. We're going to rip them out from the fields, and they're going to learn how to make a Jeep. They're going to be very confused, and they're not really going to understand what's going on, because, you know, a minute ago they were in the work field, and now suddenly they're on an automation line. But you know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It is okay. The funny thing is, though, is that by the end of this, a lot of that officer clout we're now seeing is just, we have so many officers. It's just so unfair how many officers we have. There's a million officers in this building. A million officers. And then there's just all the servicemen that still need to be hired that are coming from different buildings that haven't been hired. Again, none of this is good for your economy, except for the demand. Like, being able to pay them all and get the demand, that's nice. Aside from that, this is not good for your economy. They're not contributing to the GDP directly. They're only contributing by consuming. And I'm pretty sure our normal wage is now starting to skyrocket because of this. In part because we increased the minimum, but also because, well, the percentage of pops who are in the military has grown. And do you see the wages they're being paid? So, you know, that's going to cause their wages to go up. In fact... Now, government wages are kind of steadily rising here. And that's not military wages. Those are under their own... Oh, my God. The military. I really am just... The economy is just investing into the military. Oh, my goodness. All of those government dividends are just being invested into an army that doesn't need it. And then, of course, the almost 1.4 million from government packs. And then China is just an endless bounty of wealth we can invest into for a very long time. I'm noticing that... historical character? I don't... There's a story here. I'm afraid to find out. But there's a story here that I'm not yet aware of. Anyway. God, yeah, the game is not having fun. We're at the end game, and the game is kind of asking us if we would like to leave. But we'll try to invest into China more, give it a bit of stability, give our people something to make. It's really for the latter, so they don't just die. Speaking of dying, we are kind of causing a mass depopulation event in the British Raj because people can't find food. The Raj would probably suffer immensely from this, but I am going to make them pass poor laws to try to stop them from starving. In fact, we could also give the Raj money if we think they're going into debt. I don't think they are, though. Yeah, they're not in debt at all. They have no debt. So they're quite fine. Is the railroad doing okay, at least? It is. Let's say one other thing we can do is just mass build the railway up here to get more pops to migrate here at once. Although the servicemen are definitely having a lower standard of living due to the extremely expensive services. Nope, stay angry at the Russians. We must stay opposed. Oh yeah, it's only 27% of their expenditure. I'm sure it's not that bad. Psst. Only 27%. Oh, right, yeah, technology. Kind of forgot about that. Not that there's a whole lot of technology left to do. There's no military techs. The military techs would improve the army, but they wouldn't meaningfully improve their demand in any way. It wouldn't do anything of the sort, so it's kind of like, yeah, you know, I could do something with it, but we're not really going to get anything out of it. Oh, they were on film art. That's why I was like, why is this not all on the same one? Well, some of it's on film art, some of it is just in really wonky places. Or maybe it doesn't make sense or work well. See, now you have a lot of excess power, so I can go ahead and chop out like 4 of these power plants, so I don't have to pay all that excess money. We can actually make it profitable. Well, profitable with quotation marks around it. But at least I don't have to worry about power now. For the time being. Motors we could definitely use more of, but we're busy building up cars in France. That's probably why France is getting a lot of money now as well, is all the automobiles and the engines, and I guess tools too, if you think about it. We own a lot of motor industries in France. They're rich because we helped them. That's really the only reason. Without the wealth of Britain, which is then just taking it back and giving it to the army, they would have nothing. All right, and these are all Hindu officers. So they're not even getting paid as much. They're suffering like a 5% reduction. Although they did just go to 36 standard of living. So that is going to help the army a little more. Not by a lot. This is over $1 billion in clout. Jesus Christ. It's insanely high. Absolutely insanely high. I do need to build more, though, because then otherwise the steel mills suffer, and when the steel mills suffer, well, the GDP, the dividends suffer, and the dividends suffer, the army suffers, is what I'm told. Oh, I know we are investing a lot of this into France, but we could invest a lot of this across China. I mean, yes, they're not going to have the infrastructure right away to support it all. That's fine. That's what we're here for. At extremely random and unplanned intervals that may or may not make sense in the long run. You know, if it works, it works. And if it breaks, well, it's not my problem. They'll fix it eventually. Or people will starve to death, whichever comes first. How are we doing? Yes, a majority of it is now English in Ireland. So we could still suffer revolts in Ireland, but we shouldn't suffer that much. Look at just English across the subcontinent. It is a shame that they can't annex, or rather they aren't annexing all their other subjects. Maybe it's because they're a colony. Could promote them to a dominion, but I'd rather not. See, Russia's attacking Persia, presumably to make them a subject. Yep, and take a piece of territory, but that seems less important than the whole subject thing. How much GDP do we own now? 1.62 billion outside of the country. How nice. Hey, 25,000 immigrants. 29,000 immigrants. See, all those extra railways really did add up. We could just soak in tons of migrants now. My God. I mean, yes, this is going to absolutely not be valuable in the long run with the amount of money it bleeds, but think of the millions of soldiers we can import. Also, the urban center really needs more employees to get the service cost down. It's demonstrably high. Oh, right. I could have switched over to using electricity. Might have forgotten about that detail. Well, I'm sure it won't be that important. It's growing as much as the pops it brings in per week now. Well, one is yearly growth, one is weekly migration, so that's not really a good comparison now, is it? Over 61% are officers or servicemen, 11.9% are officers. Siam has fallen to a revolt, so good for them. And only them. Oh, another 200 million clout from votes because of all the officers who get to vote? And only the officers because you can't vote for anyone else? Truly, it is a dictatorship of the military. Run by the English, who are ethnic nationalists in this game. Who have also completely overrun India. Of course, this is a lot of, like, Hindu English that are migrating here, but I digress. They are still English. Hey, level 5 healthcare. That actually gives us another standard of living point. Which is more of just about, you know, hey, that thing happened than anything else, really. Another Alaskan revolt, but this time it's on the tiny island chain, so I don't care. Hey, they're 56% now. The bourgeoisie are no longer powerful. Fantastic. How long does this construction take? 32 months? You know what? I'm okay with that because it's going to destroy the I was going to say it's going to destroy the engine market, but I had to freeze halfway because that... Oh, the Raj finally switched over to using them because it wouldn't completely destroy them economically right away. And also probably because there's way more engines now. Yeah, they must have very recently done this switch because their GDP suddenly went up vertically in the last, like, couple of months. Ooh, that's really good. Really, really good. That would explain the very high engine demand, too, of course. Though I am more than happy to supply the engines they need to get it done. Liberal movement. Nope, minus 30. Knock it out. Make it even weaker. Oh, you can get commercialized agriculture now. And you actually have support for that. Even though you're still an autocracy, the rule folk are in charge. Well, I'm not complaining. It'll allow us to introduce more depeasantization to the land. And then they make delicious tea. Absolutely sublime. Although they're still failing to get most of their taxes, I should mention here. Because they're not really building that up. Even though I feel like they could afford to. Unless they've been going bankrupt. No, they're actually almost done. They're almost out of their bankruptcy completely. They do have 263 million debt, though. So let's take that from them so they don't go bankrupt. I assume they're going to immediately generate more debt. Yeah, they're running on the 177k deficit, even though I'm taking less money from them. But that staves off any potential bankruptcy in Japan for some time. Industrialist fascist leader. Well, gee, I wonder why they're all being taken over by the fascists. It wouldn't have to do with the significant movement of them or anything that's influencing everybody. Nor the fact that, you know, the people in power are mostly prominent fascists. Even the trade union got taken over by one. Even though it's the trade union. I think the only one not taken over is the intelligentsia because they're led by a corporatist instead. If you like that, you can see all these little numbers now. Okay, can I switch? I just realized I can't make radios with the telephone things we built. Because they're in foreign countries. So they need to have the technology. Because they switched the production method. So I actually can't do it there. Huh. Well, I know what Ireland's going to be doing. And at least, well, Scotland too, of course. Mass production, why not? Tanks, why not? Switch this to radio production, why not? That is going to increase the automobiles, but who cares? I don't have squad infantry. We're already talking about using tanks. Well, making the mechanized infantry and heavy tanks would be nice. But we first have to actually have tanks existing to begin with. Well, that and radios. Mainly the radios. But it will be a while before that construction even starts. Jesus, that's a lot. Jesus, this page is at least 2 months long. Oh, yes, it is 2 months long. Hey, it's up to 7 million now. It's got 3 million more to go. What is it like having 1 million officers? 1.43 million pops, just demanding all kinds of goods for no reason. Because the government keeps giving them money to just spend on stuff and hopes to keep their loyalty in the long run. You know, this is basically a Roman Praetorian situation as well now. If the army ever gets tired of who's currently ruling, they can just throw him out of Big Ben, or... Well, I guess not Big Ben. That would be funny, though, actually, right? Like, decide that the current president no longer works for the military. We're going to drag you all the way to the top of Big Ben and then just throw you out. Obviously, that would be terrible, but also, you know, sounds like something that would happen in this kind of almost dystopic country where the army rules everything. And anyone who doesn't follow it is just immediately punished for being out of line. Yes, that would definitely not go well. This is using up only over 2,000 infrastructure for over 10,000 levels. And is still hiring. It's still giving the Naval Administration has been expanded in home counties notification because so many of them were built here. Oh, now imagine if we had different recruitment methods that we could use beyond simple recruitment here to make more of them into officers instead of servicemen. So we'd have millions of more officers, literally millions more, which would greatly increase their clout even further. Ah, it's a shame we can't do that. It would be nice, though, if we could. Yeah. I would like to get all the way to 1936, but we are kind of reaching an endpoint here. At this point, we're just kind of sitting and watching the numbers go up. So we may not quite get to that end screen here. Although I see China's gotten over 600 million GDP now, and unsurprisingly, the Raj is going up too. Are we giving, yeah, we have been sharing knowledge with them. Good. I assume they just haven't switched over because they don't have access to it still. God, more revolts. The never-ending revolts. Oh, God. The flag on some of them. Oh, God. It looks awful. Strangely enough, the Chinese don't have it, but that's probably because of the new, like, forming a new country thing they had going on there. Excellent. Yeah, 1.48 million now. France is actually giving us the most money. Yeah, before modifiers of giving some of it back by not taking it. God, I wonder why we don't have such good leverage over them. I can't imagine why. Oh, yeah, the French are atheist here. How weird of them. Well, at least they're able. The reason why the larger economies of India and China aren't giving us as much money really is just boiled down to the fact that they can't collect it. So it's like they know the money is there, but they can't collect it, so they just have to stare into the abyss and hope someone will come and do it for them. There's nothing they can do. All they can do is sit here and stare at it. Well, we could make diesel engines. That's true. With what we already have. Ooh, the electric arc process. As if we needed more. We have 256,000 steel being made. Oh my god. I knew we were making a lot of steel, but that is a lot of steel. It's still 40,000 pops a month. Or a week, I should say. Oh, so like they're arriving, getting employed in the Land Logistics Center, and then they're just getting dragged from various buildings as new pops arrive to take their place. 12 28. Still extremely expensive services, but that's fine. Oh, right. We should have... Oh, we don't have radios. Never mind. So I don't think it'll let me. Yeah, you have to have radios first. So really quickly, since we're waiting on that anyway, just kind of promote some of them here. Still take 20 weeks, but, you know, might as well modernize. We have so much money, it's obscene. It's way over our gold reserve limit. I can't use any of it. I have a 1 billion credit limit. Jesus. Oh, they managed to become powerful again. I see they kind of bumped back up at some point. We're starting to go back down. The bourgeoisie, that is. I wonder if it's because the workforce ratio has been going up. Although I think it's been going up for a long time now. I also don't know if it's on purpose. Why are you... Oh, no, you're not mostly supporting them. It's just how it is. Like, the engineers can actually support them because of military-industrial employment, but, like, shopkeepers and the machinists, as well as the laborers, can't support the armed forces more through it. I don't know if that's on purpose or if it's an oversight. I really have no way to know, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, yeah, that would explain some of it. We shall avoid 1 billion GDP for as long as it takes. Not necessarily on purpose, but based on what we've been doing, it's technically on purpose by just comparison. Why do we have so much authority? Oh, he became persistent. Yeah, nope, I'm not really sure why here. Didn't cancel anything, did we? No. Yep, got no clue. But that's fine. Oh, I know why. It's because some of the movements we were suppressing vanished, but then the movements like the radical movement came back after being suppressed. That's why we had so much. Yeah, the annoying thing is that if you fully suppress them and get rid of them, they might just immediately reappear, and now they're even stronger because they get the initial enthusiasm for movement bonus. So it can be a little funny and a little weird at the same time. Doesn't exactly make much sense to me, but yeah. Oh well. There we go. See, the revolts took care of themselves in the end. No need to worry. Except with the radical that just spawned. That might be a problem. So I should be able to actually just go here and upgrade all units now. Yeah, we're going to have 581 trench infantry become mechanized infantry, which is, what, one more ammunition point, a tank, a radio point, an oil input point. So a couple hundred, nothing too biggie. Nothing too big at all. Yeah, we're going to need more tanks at this rate. Well, that's only if these don't hire. Which they should. Well, except for obviously the one in the home counties, given the circumstances. Doesn't really help our airplane situation, though, but oh well. Have a good luck invading Britain now. Mechanized infantry. Oh, shrapnel artillery cannot upgrade into heavy tanks. We never did the siege artillery. I was a little perplexed as to why I couldn't upgrade them. So what if I upgrade them into siege artillery? Can I then just upgrade them from there? Ooh, I have to do that like one at a time, though. But I assume that's how it would work, is then I can promote them from siege artillery. Or it'll tell me they're too different anyway, and I'm just stuck with it, but yeah. At least I have siege artillery now, which is itself a lot stronger. Let me see. Can I then make you into heavy tanks? No, you really are just too different. Okay, well, at least I wouldn't be able to do... At least I wouldn't have been able to do it regardless, and it just doesn't matter then. But mechanized infantry already at 50 offense on their own is pretty good. That's, oh, this is all with low org too. 66 offense on low org. They could be even higher. Over 100 defense. Yikes. Artillery's at 84 offense. Oh. So if they were tanks, they'd be even higher. Easily higher. What, 15 points? Easily over 100 offense then. Very good. So how are we doing here? 7.9 million. We're still working on getting the pops here. I think this is a good spot to end it. We've gone on for a while. At this point, we're just waiting for the numbers to climb. We're not really doing anything else. We have gotten the armed forces to 56.6% clout, which is an awful lot. Roughly 20% of them are just servicemen. If we add the officers to the numbers, we're looking at almost 25% of the country being involved in the army. It's around like 23 to 24% looking at the numbers here now. And that's just officers and servicemen. That's not like counting any laborers that are working in the land logistics center, although I don't think they really like the army to begin with anyway. So yeah, like they get no attraction while in there. Because they're Norwegian, they're discriminated against. But yeah, very, very big army. And of course, as an added bonus, which I very much was enjoying, so many English pops were made directly through the British Raj. It took so much of our authority for so long, but there are 241 million English pops in the world. We have 107 million English pops. Most of them are in Britain, and we are an ethno-state who is not getting any mass migration from the world. We literally just mass converted pops over here into English, made it to where they just couldn't stay here because they're unemployed and starving, and basically pressured them into moving to Britain for a job while being English again. Our globally owned GDP is almost 1.8 billion, close to 2 billion. So between that and the GDP, what is our GDP as a power block actually? Oh, you know, just 4.33 billion. Yeah, you know, no biggie. It's just massive. The US, France, and Austria all being subjects is very, very fun. And I like how rapidly the French economy started to grow as we invested into it. I also find it very funny that if I really wanted to, if they're loyal, I could annex China. But they're all aloof right now. Except France, they're fine. They just might resist later. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope this was a very entertaining bit for you. You can get your armed forces to be very powerful, but you have to kind of gut the economy and gut the world for it to start paying millions in wages and basically establishing a fascist dictatorship for it. Well, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time.